Montreal Alouettes receiver Austin Mack joins us, and I want to start with you talking about the transition mid-season coming back from the NFL to the CFL and what that's like from a player standpoint because we've seen it a bunch over the years. There's a lot of hype with it, but it seems like a difficult one to make to just jump back in there and get back to your all-star level.
Yeah, man. It's definitely difficult hopping in mid-season. And more than anything, the hardest part was, getting continuity with the team. They've gone through half the year by the time I came. So that's camp. That's already multiple games of, putting blood, sweat, and tears together. For me, that comes in and you're expecting so much, but all these guys that have just worked their ass off all year to get to where they're at today, you can't take that for granted. I still need to make sure I can show that, produce that in practice, and then as well translate that to the game. So, and playing a whole different position. I was playing field receiver when I was playing boundary in 2023. So much different, and really excited for what's to come. Obviously, I think as well. It's like my second practice back, man. I was like, dang, it's a lot of running. I'm not used to all this running. I was probably a little heavier when I first came back, but yeah, man, it's definitely more challenging, especially from to keep building that continuity. But I mean, the game at the end of the day is the game. It's football, uh, and we'll be good here this year for sure.
Do you feel like you got a fair look in Atlanta?
I mean, you could say whatever. At the end of the day, it's at the end of the day, it's politics. At the end of the day, it's when there is an opportunity, you have to maximize it. If you don't, or if you don't have somebody that's in other doors that you're not in speaking for you, I mean, you may or may not get that opportunity. So um, I've been in that business the last 5 years. I've been the guy that's been bouncing around, and I could have continued to bounce around. I had a few other calls. Could have went to Miami after Atlanta. I decided not to, man. Got two beautiful kids. For me, it was creating stability, creating a career, right? For my last 5 to 6 years, do I want to just be the bounce around guy and then eventually find a home or maybe never pan out? Or, while I still have prime years of football left, man, still want to showcase it. And so that's one of the prime reasons I wanted to come back was to, build that stability for my family, but also have some prime years of football still left to showcase.
What's that decision like for a player? You have an opportunity, like you said, from the Miami Dolphins in front of you. The NFL for you has always been your goal, but you know you could come back to the CFL and lay the foundation and continue to be a star. How do you make that decision and go through the process?
Yeah, man. It's difficult. It's definitely a difficult one. I think ego is a big component into people making that decision. I had to, let that go. As much as it is a dream, is it a reality? God opens doors to people all the time, and it's about having the humility and the humbleness to say, okay, yeah, like that's an opportunity. Versus so many people would ignore it or talk down about it. Man, what the CFO is and has done for me and my family has been almost tenfold of what the NFL ever had for me. And at the end of the day, you go the NFL route for freedom to chase, the extensions and that second contract, and the money, right? And so, for me, it's the love of the game, and it's creating that stability the best that I can for my family. And we got some pretty good off seasons and plenty of time to do some other things, so can start dabbling into other ventures.
Did you have some other NFL teams that were offering you the opportunity to continue that, or was it mostly Miami that wanted to bring you
Initially, right after I made the decision to come up here pretty quick, I didn't want to sit around. I just had Miami call me, literally. So right after Atlanta, it was about 3 days after I called Danny and I kind of told him my situation. And he was like, "We want you to come up Sunday." I was like, "Sunday?
in?
What? Sunday?" He's like, "We want you to come Sunday this week. We're going to play this team next week. You're going to be ready?" I'm like, hang on, man. Give me some time to think about it, right? And he's like, "We're going to book the flight. You let us know." And so I'm at the airport with my family. We're at we're at New York. We're in New York. Kid you not. My agent calls me. "Hey, Miami's calling. They want to know right now you're gonna come in tomorrow for a workout." I said, "Oh shit," you know. But it's I did that life. I mean, I've it's just nothing guaranteed there. And for me as a man and where I'm at in this season in my life, uh, like I said, what 2023 did for me and my family nothing can compare to it. And so, the love of the game. I mean, like I said, the NFL, when I was there, I can't say I loved playing football. But every time I set foot up here, I love playing football. And that's all that matters, right? And so you got to have passion for what you do. Like you don't want to interview me if you hated it, right? So you got to have love for it. And so that's really where that mindset kind of comes from.
Danny, you mentioned there is, of course, Danny Machocha, the Alouettes general manager, who made a pivotal move at the quarterback position this offseason. I know you're really tight with Cody Fajardo. How was that for you to see that happen?
I mean, I've played with a lot of tremendous players. Especially for my college, it is my best example going through, JT Barrett, to Dwayne Haskins, to a Justin Fields, and seeing guys develop, transition, and now you're with a whole new team, a new season. Every year in football, it's a new team. Never do you come back to the same team. And so for me, that's not my job to know who's that person is going to be. It's my job to have faith in Danny and Jason Wass and our staff that they're going to put the best players out there. And knowing who Davis Alexander is and the person that's been there grinding the last 3 years already with the Owls, man, I'm so excited. And then when we just talk about potential, his best attribute is his arm. He has a cannon for an arm. And I haven't yet been able, not to throw no shade to my guy Cody, but I haven't yet been able to run full speed and go get a ball. And so I'm extremely excited to be able to run full speed, not have to slow down and go catch some deep balls this year. So I think we're going to be able to not only horizontally but vertically stretch the field this year and be an extremely explosive team.
It sounds like you're at peace with it from a professional football standpoint. But like I know your families are tight with you and Cody Fajardo, kids and stuff like that. So how is that for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Like winning a championship with a guy like that, like that's a bond forever. Rather than the day, it's football, it's politics, But in the off season, hey, we're pulling up to the barbecue. Don't get me wrong. And then when I'm gonna talk shit to him when we pull up over there at Edmonton, I think it's week 2 or 3, we see him. So, I love that guy. I always have so much love for Cody, and I wish him absolutely nothing but the best, man. He's a I call him a legend, because him and Colin Kaepernick have like the records for the most passing and rushing stats, and over at Nevada. So, I call him he's a legend in my mind. So, got a lot of respect for him, but wishing him nothing but the best.
He had a pretty legendary Grey Cup speech too that helped you guys out. When did you realize that Davis Alexander could be a dude in the CFL? You said he was grinding for 3 years. What did you see from him behind the scenes?
For me, I didn't get to experience too much of that when I was here in 2023, but I got to witness it on social media when I see him take over for 4 games this season. And then when I got to come back, just his energy now stepping into like our meeting room or being around him. And you can start seeing, because for a lot of guys, when you're not the guy, you're not, it's like that leadership part, especially as QB, you're not, let the guy who's the guy really handle that. But when you start knowing that you got some momentum and you start holding yourself, that right there, especially from a young guy, seeing him start to step into those shoes, I was like, he's going to be good. And then I got to actually play with him one game this past year against Ottawa, and to see that, man, we're going to be phenomenal. The potential there is great. Now we just got to stay healthy. We got to fine tune it here in camp. But he's somebody that, given the opportunity, he's going to take it very seriously, and he's going to execute at a high level.
You can tell by the way you're talking how excited you are. You've referenced it for the 2025 season. Is that because you're going to be back in your position, or what's the whole reason for the excitement?
For me, man, it's like I said. I mean, knowing that we have a guy that can get us the ball at anywhere on the field. This is a 120 by 55. Not to throw shade at my guy, but it was more of everything's underneath, everything's kind of controlled. We're going to be able to open this playbook up and almost be unguardable. There's 5 guys on our team at receiver that the ball can go to them in an isolation situation, and they're going to execute. It's not just me. We got Charleston Rambo. We got Tyson Philba. We got Tyler Snead. And we got Cole Speaker, who Cole Speaker has, I'd say, progressed the most out of all of us in that receiver room. And is a very reliable receiver. So I'm super excited. I think Jason Moss, I forget what year it was, maybe 2015 or 2016, had 4,000-yard receivers. If there's a year to do it, I think this could be that year.
You know your history.
Come on now, man. I pay attention now.
Damn. So you calling that? Do you think that could happen for the
Absolutely.
Alouettes this year? 4,000-yard
I
receiver?
think it's very, very tangible that we could do. I don't see why not. Every single one of us, given the opportunity, can make that happen.
There's 5 starters, so who are the 4 that get 1,000?
I'm not going through all that now. All right? But I 100% think there could be 5. Realistically, now it's just going to come down to Jason Moss putting that together. But he's done it before. I don't see why we couldn't do that either. There's a group. It's that group. We're that group.
That'd be epic. David Alexander, first year as a full-time starter, 5K yards, distributing it to potentially 4 or 5 guys with 1K. Now that's hype. I can get excited for that.
No doubt.
Be fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Austin.
Thanks, Justin. Appreciate you guys.